What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York, and on the phone we got Timo from And Oceans. Thank you for your time today, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, no problem.
Yeah, it's so awesome to have you here. So the newest album is Cosmic World Mother, which is scheduled to come out in 2020. This is the first album since Cypher in 2002, right? Like, do you just want to talk about like how the making of this record was for such a long period of time?
Yeah, it was quite an interesting experience, of course, because it has been so long time before the last album. But like we have been discussing before also that the comeback with And Oceans have been around for years, because we have been discussing before that maybe we should come back with this band, but for some reasons we haven't done it before now, because it was 2017 we had first rehearsal and it felt quite nice, and we took some beers and blah blah blah, and we made a short video clip and put it on Facebook, and all of a sudden this media in Finland took it and make it like a piece of news, and not before long we got some offers to make some gigs, and it was 2018 autumn we did a few 2 gigs, and yeah, they went really great, and people really seemed to enjoy and wanted us to come back, and then we decided maybe we should make a new record, and I have done quite a few bands in between, but they have been really different from the And Ocean stuff, so it felt really great to do this kind of music again, and intentionally it was towards those first 2 records, so this symphonic or melodic black metal or whatever. So yeah, that's the short story.
Yeah, I mean, so did it feel almost kind of like you were picking up on where you left off after Cypher, or do you think that this was almost kind of like just a brand new start for And Oceans in a way?
Yeah, more or less like a brand new start. We did have like, almost the original lineup, but different things happened, and some of those guys had something else to do, or some other bands they wanted to concentrate on, and something else. So this is the lineup we are going now. So, and yeah.
Yeah, and this is the first album to have Matthias on vocals, right?
Yeah, he was the last one to join, because I don't want to go to any specific details, because what happened with our original singer, but this is the decision we had to make, and we have known Matthias for over 20 years. So, and I have had other band with him, so it was really easy and natural decision to ask him to join, and he had a really difficult place, because we already had all the tracks or songs ready for the new album, so he had to come up with all the lyrics and make arrangements for the songs. So, but yeah, he's a professional, so it went smoothly.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask, being that he played with, Finitrol, and he played with, Decomposter, and, so many other bands, did he bring something new into And Oceans that maybe he didn't have previously?
Yeah, I think, of course, those vocal arrangements are different, but this new album is so fresh, so I really cannot say yet if he did come up with something new, but and also we have had only 1 gig so far because this corona thing, so time will tell, but for now it looks really great to have him on board.
Yeah. Now, for you, being a prolific artist yourself, because I know that you played with Fester Day and you played with Magenta Harvest and other
Yeah.
bands. So, like, for you, is there maybe a usual method behind the madness behind every project that you're on, or do you? Is it like every project calls for a different approach?
You mean when making music, or
Yeah.
of course all of these bands are different sounding. Also, Havoc Unit was the one album band, but I don't know. For me, it's of course when I grab a guitar, I will try to do to a certain band, but I don't think too much. I just play, and every time when something sounds good enough, I will record them just with my phone or whatever, just to remember them. So I don't know if there's any big think or thinking when I'm making new music, but I just play.
Okay. Yeah, it's not like you have a preconceived idea on what you want something to sound like, right?
Yeah, for example, this new And Oceans album, I wanted to be more like those two first albums. So that was the main idea, but you never know what comes. Yeah.
Yeah. Could the single, the dissolution of mind and matter, almost serve as like a clear representation of what the whole new End Oceans album will sound like, or is this just the beginning in a way?
Yeah, maybe it's not really giving the whole picture of the album, because yeah, we have 10 more tracks, and now we have released 3 singles, but maybe it's a bit different approach to our music. Because it's quite straightforward and even aggressive kind of. Of course, it has this melodic part, but I don't know. It's a bit different maybe from the rest of the album. Of course, we have fast tracks, other tracks too, but I don't know. The whole sound and the tempo was quite high on the album.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was intentional, maybe not, but I don't know.
Yeah. For your guitar work, do you have a background in like musical theory as well? Like, you know, what scale or chord progression you're working off, or are you more self-taught?
No, nothing like that. I have had like a few months of acoustic guitar lessons back in 90 or 91 or whatever, but I have always said, because Matthias really, he knows the music theory, and he always often says that, how do you play that? You cannot play like that or whatever. But for me it's like, because I don't know the theory, music theory that well, for me it's really like, how do I say it? Really revealing of, I can do what I want because I don't know the theory, so I just play if it's like a discord or minor or major or whatever. I don't mind, because if it sounds good, it sounds good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I make any sense, but
No, you did, because sometimes a lot of people have said that theory is sometimes too. If you know too much theory, it's almost too dictating in a way.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be some like real theory Nazis who will like look at And Ocean's work with just, no offense, but like would look at like this melodic black metal style and being like, what is this? This is a disgrace.
Yeah, I know. But we don't care.
Yeah, of course, as you shouldn't. Now, when you look at the entire And Ocean's catalog, when you look at the dynamic gallery of thoughts, when you look at the symmetry of I, the circle of O, and you know, cipher and so on, is it almost kind of like representative on who you are at that particular time in a way? Is it almost kind of like a self-portrait?
Maybe, yeah, because the Dynamic Gallery, it was our first album. Yeah, maybe it sounds like it's our first album because, yeah, it was our first like full-length album in a studio. We weren't that good what we did, and it was a bit of shock when we were in a studio. And but in that music genre, it's not about how well you play. It's about the atmosphere and the feeling you get out of it. So at least I'm explaining that to myself like that. But the Symmetry album was like, for me, it was like a perfect album because the songs were really good, and I don't know, it is like compact, or I don't know how to say it. And when we went to AM Gun and Cypher, then it was more experimental. Maybe that was the era of the black metal music itself, that everybody started to make something else than the pure symphonic black metal or whatever. So maybe it's the early 2000s that made this difference. And of course, our singer at that time and keyboard player, they really listened to these cold mid-industry bands with noise and that kind of elements in their music. So all of these affected the sound of those albums.
Well, I've always considered And Oceans to be kind of like an experimental band in a way. Like, I'd imagine you guys tend to like to try new things, right?
Yeah.
And kind of like what I said before, like when you look at when you were doing the stuff with, Magenta Harvest and Festerday and all these bands, did that maybe allow you to bring in some newer stuff into And Oceans as well, or do you try to keep the other projects as separate as possible?
Yes, they are separate, and actually Magenta Harvest is on a hiatus now, and for me this is a whole new beginning with the And Oceans, so I don't really think about those other bands. I try to keep them as separate as possible. So
Yeah, and I'd imagine everything has to teach you something new with how you could play the guitar. So
yeah, for sure, yeah.
yeah. Now I have a couple more questions for you, but when it comes to playing live, is there maybe a similar energy into playing live as it is when you're songwriting, or is playing live almost a completely separate art from just simply writing music?
Yeah, for playing live, it's a totally different ball or the game, because it's really, I don't know, different or extra energy when you go on stage. So writing music, sometimes it's really frustrating and boring, because you just play and try to get some decent ideas, but live is totally concentrating on the set list you are having, and yeah, totally different for me, at least.
Yeah, and finally, when it comes to like the inspiration for writing, especially for Cosmic World Mother, do you almost kind of like look for inspiration, or does inspiration or ideas for you just come out of the blue sometimes?
Yeah, maybe this time I was quite amazed or surprised that everything came so easily. I was a bit afraid that can I really write any decent stuff for And Oceans. Of course, other guitarists wrote something, and our keyboard player also, but yeah, I was really surprised and happy about it, that it was so easy. And actually we have been making new stuff already, because this corona and quarantine, yeah. So it comes really easy, at least now, but let's see if it will continue like that.
Yeah, this is definitely a good time for creativity. I'm already excited to see what the next album sounds like.
Yeah, because this is really difficult because the release date is the 8th of May and all the gigs are cancelled and festivals are cancelled and touring seems to be impossible now. So I don't know how we can really hype or come so strong with this album. So maybe we have to think about doing another one quite soon. And it seems that it would be possible because new tracks are coming quite easily. But we'll see.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome if you're able to just, because hey, we had to wait 18 years for a new And Oceans record, so let's hope.
And it's not going to be 18 years now because I'm not getting any younger. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Remember, I was just starting second grade when the last album came out, so.
Okay. Yeah.
And my mom would not let my 8-year-old self listen to black metal. So.
Yeah, maybe it was a good decision.
So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. You said the new album scheduled to come out May 8th, right?
Yeah.
Is there just anything else with And Oceans you'd like to promote? Can we maybe get some like online gigs, like some live streams or something like that?
Yeah, we have been discussing and something is cooking, but I cannot really say about that yet. But we try to keep us busy somehow.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Timo. Everybody, we are here with Timo of And Oceans, Cosmic World Mother, coming out May 8th on Season of Mist. Be sure to pick it up then. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.